Hey guys, just a quick video this morning. I want to talk about Polaris and how it went. First of all, I want to compliment Matt and his crew over there. They did a great job on the event. Doing a pro jiu-jitsu event like that is no small task, so congratulations guys. You put on some great matches for sure. But the topic that I really want to dive into is the fact that there were no submissions during the main event. And for something called a submission-only event, I think that's what a lot of people wanted to see. They want to see submissions. People love to see submissions. And, you know, if we look back at the beginning of the real submission-only movement, which I guess, you know, we could say Polaris was the first one to really put submission-only on the map. Yes, there were smaller events before, but Polaris was the one that really got the biggest audience. And, you know, those events came out because people were frustrated. They were frustrated by watching the finals of the World Championships where not a lot happened. A lot of the matches were won by advantages. And even though there was a winner, winning by advantage from a spectator's point of view is not very rewarding. So advantages can be very subjective and frankly, the rules are sometimes difficult to understand. So why should somebody get an advantage is something that the layperson doesn't really understand. And of course, sometimes advantages are given differently by different referees. So there's that issue too. Bottom line, people did not like to watch a match where someone won by one advantage or a referee's decision. So the idea was, let's make a submission-only event where someone's going to get submitted. You can't win by advantage, so you're not going to just hold position because it's pointless. To me, that was the rationale behind the submission-only movement. So some of the early Polaris events, we saw, I think it was the first one, we saw maybe a 50% submission ratio, and some of the subsequent events were lower than that. So the submission-only movement did not deliver on delivering submissions. And it's debatable whether the matches are more exciting or less exciting than a points tournament. But so here we are at Polaris this past weekend, Polaris 3, where there were no submissions. And the case could be made that there were some exciting matches, there were some good matchups, and we saw some great jiu-jitsu. Yes, I agree with that. But my question to you, is that rewarding to have a match end in a draw? Personally, I think it's not. I like to see a winner and a loser. Now, if you're doing a match with no points and no referees, then how do you do that? How do you guarantee there's going to be a winner? One thing is to make it no time limit, but who has time for that? You know, you could theoretically have matches go all day long, and when you're paying a production company to put on an event, and you know, it's not really feasible because you're going to be potentially be spending a lot of money for all that airtime and production time. Another way to do it is the way that Eddie Bravo does it, where if the regulation ends in a draw, he puts you in basically a sudden death position where you have to escape from an armbar or a choke. And to me, that was a brilliant way of making sure there's a winner and a loser, and not by a cheap way. You know, people don't feel good when you see somebody win by decision or by an advantage. But when you see that tap, which you see on almost every single EBI match, that is very rewarding for the viewer. So I do think Eddie Bravo was brilliant in coming up with that rule plan. So yeah, that's basically my question for you. Was it rewarding seeing great competitors match up with each other, but not getting a submission? To me, it's not. But maybe for you it was. But I'm curious to see what you think about that. Now the whole submission-only movement, are you a believer in it? Are you not a believer in it? Do you think it's on the right track but just needs to be tweaked? But before you go off on points tournaments, I think you need to remember that we're talking about two different things. We're not comparing points tournaments to submission-only events in the sense that most point tournaments are events that have a lot of competitors. The PANS has over 3,000 competitors. You can't have submission-only events in that context. It's going to take too much time, in my opinion. Anyway, my dog is telling me it's time to go, so I'm going to leave you with that. Let me know what you think. Were you satisfied? Were you not? What's your idea? What's your idea of the perfect rule set? Okay, gotta go walk the dog.